Hi everyone. For the last few weeks during the season of Lent, we've been thinking about the Beatitudes in our weekly reflection. These sentences are the series of sayings, each starting with the phrase, "Blessed are," which come at the beginning of a portion of Jesus' teaching known as the Sermon on the Mount. In our final reflection before Easter, we will consider the fourth Beatitude, "Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted." We might well ask the question, what does Jesus know about this particular emotion? The answer is more than we might imagine. An interesting fact is that the shortest verse in the Bible is Jesus wept. This outpouring of emotion is recorded in the Gospel of John, chapter 11. Jesus' good friend Lazarus has died, and he goes to visit his family. John tells us that upon seeing Lazarus' sisters, Mary and Martha, weeping, and also the grief of their circle of friends, Jesus weeps too. He then enters the place where the body has been laid with a heart that is described as full of sadness. This account from the life of Jesus speaks deeply to me, as it says that Jesus stands alongside us when we mourn. He can empathize with that emotion because he has also experienced it. But in this beatitude is a promise that we will be comforted in our mourning. This comfort may not be the removal of sadness, but the mourning may be given meaning. On more than one occasion recently, I've witnessed someone apologize for crying whilst talking about someone who's died. It's very English and perhaps understandable, but why do we feel the need to do it? Mourning shows that someone or something has been loved and cherished. It shows that there's been life, and whenever there is life, there is the presence of the source of life, God. This week, on Tuesday the 23rd of March, there is a National Day of Reflection. This has been organised by the charity Marie Curie. And for Christians, this is a day to both reflect and also to pray. The National Day of Reflection looks to reflect on our collective loss, support those who've been bereaved, and hope for a brighter future. Across the country, churches are invited to be prayerful. There'll be a minute's silence at 12 noon, followed by a ringing of church bells, and later a doorstep vigil at 8 p.m. The choice of this particular date is because it is 1 year on from the start of the first lockdown. The total number of recorded deaths linked to coronavirus in the UK stood on that date at 335. A year on, there have now been over 146,000 deaths. The Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby, said, "This day of reflection is an opportunity to pause and remember all that's happened over the past year. To mourn those who have died, but also to give thanks for those who have looked after us and our communities. It's a moment to pray together to our Father in heaven, to comfort us in our grief, and to lead us into the hope of the risen Christ and the eternal life he promises." Archbishop Justin goes on to say, "As we reflect on the pandemic, may he strengthen our resolve to rebuild a kinder, fairer, and more compassionate society. May he be with those who are struggling, and may he guide us in honouring those we have lost over the past year." So, as we reflect on the promise, "Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted," we can feel cause to hope. Whether we mourn lost educational opportunities, lost family celebrations, lost times to be together, or whether we mourn actual lost loved ones, we can be assured that God is present. He's there in the midst of our emotions, offering us comfort. I wish you a very blessed Easter when it comes very soon. Take care.